Firms could be asked to stagger shift start times and introduce weekend working hours to avoid a surge of people traveling to work at rush hour once the coronavirus lockdown is lifted. Ministers have been alarmed by scenes from the London Underground of people continuing to cram into carriages to get to work and have been working to reduce the risk of this happening again. Brits could start work at 1 p.m. or go into the office on weekends when things eventually begin to return to normality. The measures are part of the government plans for a new normal as lockdown restrictions are to be gradually eased. Passenger numbers in London are down around 95% on the tube and 85% on buses. The Mayor of London Sadiq Khan has said TfL had lost hundreds of millions of pounds of revenue as a result of the measures. Mr. Khan said, "Unless the government gives us a grant, we will not be able to continue to run the service we have." The capital's mayor said that TfL had lost hundreds of millions of pounds of revenue as a result of the measures. The current lockdown is due to run until May 7 after being extended once again. The measures are due to next to be reviewed on the same day lockdown is now due to be lifted. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said he was preparing to ramp up contact tracing on a large scale as a way of keeping the virus under control. In the Commons on Tuesday, Mr. Hancock said he was confident the country was at the peak of the outbreak. However, the Health Secretary stressed that continued social distancing was currently needed to bring the number of new cases down. He also said a contact tracing app which will alert people if they have been in contact with somebody with the virus and should self-isolate was currently in trials. He said, "We have to make sure we've got that evidence before we start touting around ideas. The minute we can responsibly do so based on the evidence, we will." There have been increasingly urgent calls from businesses and politicians to get the economy back up and running as soon as possible. A cabinet source told The Sun, "We have to get the wheels of the economy turning again soon or there won't be much left of it." But life and work is going to look very different when it happens, whether it's staggered rush hours or going in every other day. However, ministers are keen to avoid a second peak of coronavirus deaths. This has caused quite the split in Parliament over whether or not to relax lockdown measures and reopen schools. Experts have claimed the reopening of schools could be one of the first stages of a gradual lifting of the coronavirus lockdown. Schools outside of virus hotspots such as London and Birmingham may open as soon as next month, it was suggested. Paul Cosford, Emeritus Medical Director for Public Health England, said one of the first lockdown measures to be lifted could be school closures. He said, "We do know that children are at very low risk of getting complications from this disease. The importance of children's education, children being in school, is paramount. I could conceive of circumstances in which some of the restrictions are lifted sooner and some are lifted later.